Hi friends, we just want to thank you for all of you who've joined us to pray for Israel by name, praying for the names of hostages currently kept by Hamas in Gaza. We want to ask you that you continue praying for new hostage names every day until they come home. And I'm here right now in the Judean Hills with my good friend Calev Myers. He's an international human rights lawyer. He serves the body of believers here in Israel, and he also is the founder of the Voice for Freedom Coalition. And he wants to share an update with us on the hostage situation. So Calev, you've been in touch with the families of these hostages that are being kept in Gaza. Can you give us an update on their situation?
Yeah, well, first of all, the situation is hellish.
Yeah.
It's terrible. We have elderly Holocaust survivors, pregnant mothers, boys, girls, toddlers, babies that have been abducted. Think about having, if you know your toddler today is being held in a cage underground at the hands of Hamas, or your Holocaust survivor grandmother who went through everything she went through in Europe, and now she finds herself in some dark tunnel underneath Gaza, right? I mean, it's unimaginable what they're going through right now, and one of the biggest issues with the families is just information.
Yeah.
And many of them, today they verified 199 hostages.
Wow.
They really know that they're definitely abducted by Hamas. That's been pieced together, but there's still many people that are just missing.
Yeah.
Right? So they've thrown together this ad hoc committee, and they've reached out to various individuals. They have at least 30 or 40 people and organizations working for them. And they asked my team and I to handle the international media and diplomatic campaign on behalf of the committee of the families of the hostages. So they reached out to us about a week ago, last Monday, and since then we've been working around the clock for 16, 18-hour days, like most of Israel.
Yeah.
We're not unique,
Yeah.
right? I would say going into this war, Israel is probably more divided and polarized than it's ever been since 1948. Now,
Yeah.
we may be more unified than we've ever been. Everybody's doing something, and this is just our little piece.
I think just even living here and feeling it, like everyone, because of so many reservists were called up, it feels like everyone's contributing, everyone wants to do something.
Exactly.
The number of people that want to volunteer is huge. And I understand with this media campaign, you have a small budget, but there's organizations that are lending their time, their resources,
Absolutely.
their expertise,
Yeah.
all the skill.
Yeah.
So talk to me, some of the, there's some reports online of some of the families getting videos of the hostages. Is that true? Is that confirmed?
Hamas has been releasing some videos, all of them terrible, but those all go through a very serious analysis to ascertain what's real, what's fake, what's this. But they're definitely in a propaganda campaign, and they're using some pictures of the hostages right now.
Wow. Yeah. And so what you're doing with Bring Them Home Now, you're sharing faces, stories, images. What's the end goal?
The first thing that we're doing is we're building a coalition. We're building a coalition of organizations called the Voice for Freedom Coalition. Today we have over 250 Christian organizations. What does it mean to join our coalition? Very simple. Send us the name of your organization, the name of you or your media person, their WhatsApp number to add them to our WhatsApp media distribution group, and email. And then we're doing a few things. We're creating our own media, but we're also curating quality media of other people and blasting it out to this network that are sharing it in their, so it's an echo chamber in a sense in social networks around the world. One of the things that was very successful was our posters, the kidnapped posters that just went like wildfire. I mean, they're being plastered in major cities around the world, from New York to Paris to London, etc. And also shared on social media. That was so successful that now we're launching a new version of them, an upgraded version that has more close-up personal photos with the names and the age of each of these hostages. We're going to go and part of it is purchase media. So we're going to be putting these in bus stops, train stations, billboards throughout Western Europe. So there's a big media push. So first of all, building a coalition, mobilize people to share media. Then we're also arranging certain events. So right now we're focusing on a mass demonstration in Geneva in a week on the 22nd of October at Place des Nations, which is right across from the Human Rights Council of the United Nations and the offices of the Red Cross. We're going to be bringing 4 family members of survivors with us, speaking on the stage. We hope to have thousands of people out on the square in Geneva on the 22nd of December at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We're going to be praying for the families and coming out in one united voice to demand their immediate and unconditional release.
Wow.
And also, we actually have volunteers calling every single leader of every single organization, trying to map out what are your connections, what are your political affiliations, what are those relationships with people that are in decision-making places that could actually make a difference in a time like this, so we can apply pressure in the right points when necessary in the future.
Wow. What would you say to someone that says, it doesn't look like the Israeli government's really concerned about the hostages, it just seems like they're interested in doing this ground operation in Gaza? Is that the case? What have you felt from your end?
Well, we're at war. So the government right now is focused on winning that war. They have appointed Gal Hirsch, former military officer, I want to say general, but I don't remember his exact rank, forgive me, Gal, but to be their representative to, be in communication with the families of the hostages. But it's a very delicate and difficult situation right now. Obviously, the families are extremely disappointed that we reached the situation, and so their relationship with the government is a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
Our coalition isn't representing the Israeli government.
It's representing the families.
It's representing the families. On behalf of the families, doing advocacy in the international community to keep the faces of the hostages in front of the world.
Very important.
And so that we continue to call for their immediate release and keep that pressure on Hamas.
And so our hearts go out to this. Obviously, all the people that follow firm, our hearts are there. We felt like God gave us this vision from Isaiah 49 of the names of the children of Israel inscribed in the palms of his hand, to take the names of the hostages and pray for one every day, to remember, to not forget, to pray for Israel by name. And so we've been writing on my hand today, Eliyah, as a hostage to pray, just as a reminder.
Beautiful.
And we've seen a movement now of people posting on Instagram, Facebook, churches, whole communities coming together and saying we're going to write the name of every hostage that we know about and pray by name. So if you were to speak to our followers, our community, Christians around the world that are praying for the hostages, how can they pray with specificity for these names?
I think number one, to pray for their health and their life, that God would protect them until such time as they return to their families, and also encourage their spirit in some way. It sounds like completely impossible. I can't think of many more of worse situations than being a captive right now in the hands of Hamas and being used as a political pawn. But that God would encourage their spirits, strengthen them, and keep them alive and as safe as possible until they can be returned. And the biggest prayer is that they will be returned to their families as quickly as possible, that God will intervene, that God will do a miracle. Right now it looks like we'll need a miracle.
Yeah.
Hamas they're crazy. They're crazy fundamentalist jihadists that have no regard for life whatsoever. They don't care about the hostages. They're just using them as some kind of pawn for leverage to, attain things they want to attain. And so, protection, life, and return home as quickly as possible. Yeah.
Amen. Thank you so much for your time, Calev.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for everything you're doing.